About 90 days ago, a self-publisher that makes $100,000 a month did a copyright strike claim on my book. And here are the things that I wish I would have known about copyright before this happened. My name is Jenny Hansen-Lane. I've created a six-figure income stream from book royalties in 3 years, and this channel is dedicated to helping you go faster and get more results when it comes to self-publishing. Now, if you guys have been anywhere on this channel, we have over 800 videos of the ups and downs, the twists and turns of self-publishing. But something that I didn't really understand is how much more power we have. And I didn't realize this until I actually had to hire a trademark attorney to help me get my account turned back on. This has happened to me multiple times. I don't share these videos to scare you. I actually want to empower you to understand that the reality of this is that sometimes offense is the best defense, okay? And so what happened is I used a phrase that was getting tons of traffic, and I looked up the trademark on the website for this phrase and I didn't see anything. So I went ahead and I did a book, and my positioning was the book they were doing was for adults, my book would be for kids, and it started selling immediately. About 14 days later, I got an IP email address. I got an email address from the IP department at Amazon that said, you need to prove that you have the rights to use this phrase. And so I sent it to my attorney and I was like, this is weird because the person that's using the phrase too, they don't own the rights, but they have only registered to use it. And so what that means is anytime that you trademark a name for a book, you have to prove in the United States Copyright Office that you're using it as a series. That was not the case with this book. And Amazon, because they don't want to get involved between two, the legality of this, between two KDPers, they just take a step back. If someone does a copyright claim on you, your account gets suspended or paused. And so now I've got ads running, right? Like I have to decide, do I turn off my ads or fight this? Or both. And with the help of my attorney, Evan, I drafted this email back to the self-publisher offensively. And I had to tell them why what they did was not okay. And foremost, it's because they were not using the trademark properly. And so what's really interesting about laws is that sometimes people interpret them according to their own knowledge. This self-publisher is not based in the United States, and they even have a team that helps them. And so navigating this, it was like, this is not okay. And we've talked about this before. There are other self-publishers that have done this to smaller creators, and they don't actually know who I am because I published under a pen name. So it maintained the privacy. When they replied in the email, they were like, we need to know all this personal information about you. And it feels kind of scary because this has never happened before, right? And talking to my attorney, Evan, he's like, no, you don't have to give them any of that information. How would I know that? How would I know that? Anyways, there were so many things that were happening with this that it really brought up, let's have the conversation about copyright so you're a little bit more prepared, because you're not going to learn this in school. I even took a law class in high school for college credit. I almost went to law school. And each branch of the law is so different. So you can't really expect to hire a marriage and family lawyer like family law to do your copyright for you, or a divorce attorney to do your copyright for you, because it's a different branch, right? And so being able to understand that is so powerful. Okay, so here are the things for you to know when you're getting started. I only share this so you learn from my mistakes. I don't ever want to make someone uncomfortable. I know we've had a couple of videos go semi-viral where people are like, this is scary. It doesn't need to be scary. Offense is the best defense, okay? So anytime that you create something with the human touch, you own the copyright on it. That is the very basics. Now, it is good for you to go ahead and get that registered with the Copyright Office if it has made you any money or you have 65 additional US dollars. What this certificate does is allows you to litigate. It allows you to protect yourself. So when these account suspensions have happened, or you've had books blocked on KDP, or even terminations, having the law on your side and showing that you have protected your book adds a layer of protection for your publishing income, right? And so that is a really, really important factor. And that wasn't really explained to me because you are the one who reads the terms and conditions on Amazon, right? You are the one that's like, you're trying to figure it out, and no one's really having copyright conversations. And I think it can be tricky because sometimes we feel like we're not qualified because we didn't go to law school. But the law protects us, and so it's important for us to understand, okay? So that is number one. I wish I knew to be more offensive than defensive when it came to my work. And I'm learning that, and you guys are on that journey with me, and there is so much to learn in addition to that, right? The second thing that I wish I knew about copyright with Amazon is that Amazon just has a list of protocol rules that they will follow when someone does a copyright strike on your book. It has nothing to do with you. Doesn't mean you're not worthy. Doesn't mean you're not loved. Doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. I think a lot of times there's some stigma around when something happens to our account where we're very discouraged, or we think, oh, I'm an honest person. We can still be an honest person, and people can still do bad things to us that they shouldn't do, right? I think in defense of some of these processes is that when you do self-publish and you're doing it under a pen name, there isn't really any other way for someone to get a hold of you if you are infringing on them. I have a friend that someone infringed on her brand. She owns a trademark, and they put a book on Amazon with that name. I think it might have been a series, and that actually infringes on it. And so she has sent emails as like a cease and desist, but there's only so much she can do before she hires an attorney to get involved, okay? So that is those are two of the most important things to think about, is that to be more empowered with the books that you created, especially when you know you put the human touch in it and you own the copyright, okay? I would also say to always make sure that you're checking trademark websites to remain safe in your account. The second thing that I talked about is that being offensive, like protecting your work, is always going to be really, really helpful. And that allows you to avoid deeper problems. Now, if someone were to copy your book and you own the copyright, that's when you can send litigation. That's when you can say, hey, you owe me for this. But if you don't own that, you can't really litigate, and it really can kind of bottle you up. Okay, so those are the two things I want you to remember about copyright with Amazon KDP and just keeping your account safe, is understanding that you do own things that you put the human touch into, and it needs to be original work. And then two, you do have the right to protect your stuff. Let me know what questions you have about copyright. I know it's kind of a niche topic, but it's also something I really want to take the stigma out of, so you feel empowered to publish and you feel comfortable being able to build a book income stream machine. I have a free training coming up. If you want to join us, I'll put a link below. We talk about copyright with my students. We talk about how to protect ourselves more, but then also just having more time and freedom is really why I created this channel. So put in the comments how I can help you, and I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.